I just got out of the new Robin Hood movie. That movie is a disaster. It's Jackson from Instannoyed, by the way. Basically, it takes the Robin Hood movie and it adds a bunch, or the whole Robin Hood story adds a whole shitload of, like, you know, beats you over the head with current political messaging. It's got shitty action in it. The characters are all bland and boring. Yeah, it's another bad Robin Hood movie. It's actually worse than the Russell Crowe one that came out some years ago, believe it or not. Is anything good about it? Nothing. Yeah, ham-fisted villain who really sucks. It's that Ben Mendelsohn character who plays the same part in everything. Jamie Foxx, I couldn't believe he was even in this. It was so bad. It tries to go for like a superhero concept where basically Robin Hood goes off to fight in the Crusades. He's drafted and he comes back, and him and Jamie Foxx, who's the Arab Muslim character, start taking money from the sheriff of Nottingham and giving it back to the people. But all these characters somehow don't put together that this guy who just came back, who was thought dead, arrived at the exact same time that this the Hood started robbing people and giving the money away. I mean, it's so stupid. When Robin was off to war in the movie, the sheriff came through and took all of his money and took his house, everything, to fund the war effort or whatever. So Robin, supposedly, he's broke. There's no way he should have any money. But the idea that Robin and Jamie Foxx's character have is to basically, for Robin to go undercover so he can become like a lord of Nottingham, and he'll have all the inside info and they'll take down the sheriff from the inside. So Robin starts donating all this money to the church and the war effort and everything, for the sheriff, you know. And the sheriff, like, loves him and invites him in, but it's like they fucking know that he shouldn't have any goddamn money, and he just showed back up, and the Hood just started robbing people. Nobody puts this together, not a single fucking character in the goddamn movie. It's preposterously bad. I mean, it was the worst thing I've ever seen. I mean, it's like you've got scenes in here that are so, like, ham-fisted with, like, the political rhetoric too. That's like, you know, obviously not to get political, but it's clearly like, you know, messages about immigration and all that shit, and it just takes you right out of the movie. It's not creatively done. It's fucking horrible. And sadly, it was like a full theater. There might have been like six seats open in the theater. I can't trash this movie enough. It's terrible. This is the third movie I've seen this week. The other two were good, so go see one of those. Either Green Book, which I think was one of the best movies of the year, or Creed 2. Creed 2 was pretty damn good as well. But yeah, this was bad. It was trying to be like, towards the end there's a big battle scene, and leading up to it, I mean, they basically ripped off The Dark Knight as much as you possibly could too, like with the music and the way the camera was being used. There's a lot of fake Christopher Nolan-esque type shit in this. There's a lot of like 300-esque like slow-mo shots in this. Just a fucking disaster. Don't see it. Go back and watch the Kevin Costner one. I like that one. That's kind of cheesy, but you know, it's got a place in my heart. So I don't know why they keep making these. I'm thinking it must be one of those Spider-Man things where they have to keep the rights, so they keep pumping out these fucking movies, but they're bad. This one sets up a sequel that I'm guessing we'll never get, just like the last one did. At least that Ridley Scott one was like inspired, the one with Russell Crowe. It had its moments where it was decent. It wasn't a horrible movie. This is just fucking horrible. It's like a really shitty blend of like The Kingsman, 300, and, you know, Batman Begins or something. It's just a disaster. But yeah, we'll be discussing this one next week on the podcast, so make sure you check that out. And yeah, any questions or comments, feel free to send them my way. Fucking disaster. And Jason, yes, Creed 2 rules. It's good. It's not as good as the first one, but I love the first one, so that's not saying much. You guys have a good night. Hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving. The Lions sucked ass, so mine was not good. Yeah, congrats to the Bears, by the way. Everybody have a good night. Bye.